Hi everyone, I hope that you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. I was in Spotlight today wandering around and looking something specifically for painting, which was some gel medium. I just want to check out the price of that. But I went past the ROKR display, so here it is here. And they had these on special for members of Spotlight for 40% off, and I thought, oh, I've always wanted a globe and I couldn't walk past it, and now here I am about to put this thing together. So I've taken the plastic wrap off from around the outside of it. So let's have a look and see what's in the box, shall we? We'll do that together. So this is what it comes with. On the back, there's some information there, including some of the other projects that you can get. And this is meant to have some mechanical wheels that you can spin around, and also a light, so it doubles up as a light there as well. That's why it's a luminous globe. There's 180 pieces in this, and I'm probably the most impatient person when it comes to craft projects, so I don't know if I've done the right thing here, so it'll be quite entertaining. So I'm just going to open up the box and let's have a look and peek what's inside. I can get it open. So inside of the carton, you have got a few layers of wood with all the different parts. You have got some instructions, which talks about all the different pieces. Oh, there's a lot of steps. Okay, and there's a lot of steps. I'm hoping that it all clicks together because I haven't purchased any glue or anything like that. And oh yeah, there's a lot of steps. Oh no, and there's more steps. And in this piece down the bottom, you've got USB, some circuitry there to keep it all going, little file by the looks, a spacer, and some tools and other pieces. So I better keep all that together so I don't lose it. Alright, so I'll just put that off to the side. This one will be really good. So if I really like this, I might end up having a look at the classic gramophone next. But the other ones that I really liked to see when I was there were the Book Nook ones too. They're not made by this brand. I can't get into that. They're made by a different brand. And I really liked the look at them as well, but they weren't on special today, so I might see if I can get something equivalent online. There are things in the plastic, so just be careful. I'll put these in the white tray. Oh. And clean hands, because these are the transparent pieces for the inside of the globe. And we have some other stickers and things there, so I'm just going to keep those. In fact, I might even just pop those back into the box. While we're having a look at this. Okay. So there are quite a few pieces here. So I guess the first step is to read the instructions, because this is not something from IKEA that I'm just going to crack open the carton and start putting things together and hope for the best. I don't think this is a hope for the best type project somehow. A1. These should just click out, which they do. A1, A2, A3. Now I can see why you might need to have some sanding. Alright, so this is A1. Then we have to have this facing down Yep, I'm guessing like that. And it should snap. Oh God, this is going to be hard. No, there we go. Trust in the process. Is that one? Oh, there we go. All right, success. We got the first step done. All right, I need G1 and G4. G1, G4. Good tip. Don't pull them all out. Just use, don't just chuck all these out on the table, step by step, which you'd probably do anyway, but I'm just sort of just saying. G5, G6. Oh God, what am I doing? I guess that must go in there.
So it's actually a really great puzzle to do, and as much as you had to go backwards and forwards and check out the instructions, you could work it out. And if you couldn't, there was QR codes that were included in the instructions that you could look up and find out the steps. And there are also some other wonderful people on the internet who've also filmed up to 8 to 10 hours of how to put one of these together, which I also found really, really helpful as I was putting things together in this particular project. The only things that I was really worried about was making sure that I didn't damage the cord or the circuits in any way. I didn't want it not to work at the end of the day. And the other thing was some of the wooden pieces feel quite fragile as well. You've got to be really careful with the way that you put them together and sort of don't over push them, because they can be close to breaking point. And in fact, you'll see very soon that I had a little bit of a disaster. It's pretty incredible that they can actually put a kit together for sort of puzzle enthusiasts like ourselves. And there are an absolute ton of examples. I went up to Burnie, which is also in Tasmania, earlier in the week, and went to the Spotlight up there, and they had an even bigger selection of different puzzles that you can purchase. I ended up getting the cello, the musical cello, and I also have the owl that I ordered from Temu. So I have a ROKR kit from Spotlight, which is the cello, and I have an owl from Temu, which I will be creating on this channel, and I'll let you know if the quality was any different as compared to the ROKR kit that I've done here. Some of the assembly is a bit finicky. I guess it teaches you a lot of patience. It certainly taught me a lot of patience. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I like to get things done in 5 minutes, and this is not a 5-minute job. This is something that you are going to have to actually slow down, take your time, read the instructions, and that can be really good for you if you need to take that time to slow down. And what I also noticed was that as you're building it, you kind of get into the thought process of just focusing on the build. So you hear about flow and how good it is for people who, you know, stress or anxiety, that kind of stuff. So it definitely had flow, because I was sitting here playing around and putting this together, and it must have been a few hours went past easily just as I was working on it. The good thing about a puzzle is that if it does get a little bit overwhelming, you can walk away, take a breather, do something else, and come back to it.
Hi. A little bit of change of scenery here, but I just need to tell you this puzzle actually is sitting on my dining room table now for nearly 2 weeks. I was absolutely loving putting it together, but then I thought, is there something that I can do to this frame to kind of paint it up? Because I'm not going to really like that wooden look that it has. So while I deliberated that over 2 weeks, it just sort of sat here on the table, and I think I might have come up with a solution. Does mean I'm going to take these 3 different matte pieces off. And I did discover there was this little sheet of stickers, I think, that I showed you when I first unpacked it, when it said the alternative plan. The alternative plan is for putting these pieces on. I'm actually having a little bit of difficulty, because where it says you have to sort of bend these bits over and poke them in. They're not poking in, there's not enough for it to actually get there, and part of the other piece is actually taking up the slot there. So very, very difficult to poke it in at either end. So I am going to make use of that alternative plan, which I believe is just putting some sticker on there. But before I get to that, I am going to have to take these 3 pieces off because I plan on painting the pieces to this. So I went searching through the house to see what I could use, and I do have these Inca Golds. They've been sitting around for such a long time, and I had bronze and gold. And I tried out some of these distressed inks as well by Tim Holtz. And I had some leftover bits of wood from one of the other sheets. So this is where I tried the Inca Gold. So this is a layer of bronze Inca underneath, and then I just sponged on top some of the gold. Now when this is dry, you can actually buff it up and get a bit of a shine too, which is pretty cool. But that looked too orange to me. So then I tried just the distressed inks, and the sponge that I was using was doing all sorts of odd things, and I was a bit worried about the pressure of that and whether or not it would break the small pieces when I got to them. So what I ended up doing is I took some of the bronze and I've put it into a little jar. To that I've added the tiniest, the teeny tiny amount, just like end of the brush. I can't even give it, like it's probably 1/5 of a teaspoon, if that, maybe even that's too much, to the mixture. And I've gotten myself a darker bronze now, which I think is actually going to work quite well, and I can mix up more if I need to along the way. And it's almost like a watery wash. It's not a thick paint because I want this to dry really quickly. So that should be enough for the whole entire project. And I put some of that on first, so when it goes on its own, it's like almost like just a thin wash, and it's almost dry as it is. So I don't actually mind that color. But after I did that, I went back in with the Inca Gold, which was not with the paintbrush. I just put some Inca Gold, just dabbed it in, and then I rubbed it over the top. And that is giving it a bit more of a shine. So this is the look that I'm after, and this is the one that I'm going to try. So I'm going to take off those pieces and get started in colouring this up and getting rid of that sort of wood look, if you like. Customising it. That's what I'm doing, customising it. Yes, I know, I could pull it all apart and paint it, and it'd be a lot easier. But at the end of the day, this part of the puzzle was an absolute bugger to get together. So I'm just going to continue as I am. I'll bring you back when it's done. I think this is the most difficult part of this process. You've got these little glassine sheets, you've got to fold them up and kind of slide them into the slot if you can. And sometimes they'll go and other times they won't. I have more success with the bottom bit, sort of getting that to slide in somewhat. And the whole time that you're doing this, you're thinking, please don't break, because you don't want to overdo it. There we go. I actually got that one in. I don't know if you can see. See, it slides into the little slots just there. And then it folds back up, and these two bits here hook into the bottom part of that wood and the top part of that wood bit as well. So it kind of just sort of clicks in there. And then at the top, you're meant to fold and tuck into this top bit. Now you can see I've had hardly any success up there. This is the only thing I think that has taken away from the joy of putting this together. Now if I can, maybe I can get this in. No. So what they have done as an alternative is they've given you these little strips of double-sided tape. And I have been using these, and they just run along the top So what I've been doing is I'm popping that along the top, but then I have been attempting to try and get it into the slot, and if I can't, well then the tape's just going to have to hold it. I'm so glad that they put this in as an alternate, because I really don't think that I could have done it without it. So well done to ROKR for having an alternate method of putting this piece together. So I will try to kind of squeeze it in there. It's just not quite wide enough to kind of get a piece in. So needless to say, the part of my map that had the double-sided tape is looking so much nicer than the other one. It's a bit more closed off. My first couple of attempts here at the start are absolutely shocking, but I'm going to live with it. I'm going to live with that. Now, before I do move on and put the very last piece on, you're meant to have a check to make sure that nothing's moved inside and everything there is in its position that it should have been when I first put this together. You'll know because it has got little lines around the centerpiece. Now it's time to lock this thing in with the very last part of the map. So again, folding it in, trying to get it in at the bottom, which I have been able to do for the last three. I don't know how. And then once this is done, I've already painted up the pieces that will kind of click in and go on either side of this. But I do have a piece down the bottom that I've got to try and connect into those 4 prongs. It's going to be interesting. Here's an interesting piece of information. These actually have got E3 and D2 written on them, but they are not in fact the E3 and D2 pieces. They hold the actual pieces that are those. So sometimes in these puzzles, you just got to watch that because the label might actually be not on the piece itself. This is the piece that I've need. I've just heated up with some of that gold, Inca gold, and here's my globe, and these will go onto the pieces and help make that nice and sturdy. And now it's broken. This is really frustrating, guys, because you kind of got to put this piece on and it's so tight. It's falling off the bottom and the top bit won't go on. The last thing I wanted to do was break the damn thing, and I was just being so gentle. So it just keeps coming off. And I don't know. See, that's the piece that broke, so it's not going to stay because it's lost its integrity, its strength and integrity now. This is so disappointing. So I guess I need to determine whether or not, I'm guessing that this piece sort of stays pretty much true to itself, and just keep that piece and keep going until I can glue it on again. But I mean, it doesn't even look you pay so much for these things too. Anyway, I'm just going to go and have some disappointing moments. I'll be back.
And yes, guys, it was a long, disappointing moment, but it was only as long as I went and got the super glue and put it together. And then I didn't press record for the remainder of it, but I can show you what we ended up with at the end of the day. Are you ready? Drum roll.
And this is it. Complete demundo. And the paintwork came up really well. see the gold there. Managed to get into it. But I guess the proof is in the pudding. So if you turn this wheel, my globe turns, as it should. Okay. There is another wheel over this side. And this one moves this little eyepiece up and down. So that works. And at the back of the whole lot here, there is a light switch. And it's not dark at the moment here, but I can assure you that when you plug this into a power outlet or a USB and you flick that switch, the light comes on. So I'm pretty happy that after all of that, no, it wasn't that bad, honestly. I think next time, when I do the next one, I won't leave the painting to the end. I ended up painting a lot of this once it was put together. I would definitely stain up the wood before I went ahead and started putting things together. And when you stain, I haven't made it that thick. Like I said, I wasn't painting it. I didn't make it thick. It was just a real wash that went over and just took that wooden lot out of it. So there you have it, guys. You have a look down here. This is the luminous globe, finished.
Thanks again if you've made it this far through the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check back at the channel. I do lots of different things on this channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.